Hi guys, I'm back. I am working now on the new set of cards, the artist trading cards for my students. Briefly, if you have not watched my previous videos, I decided to offer my students to exchange some artist trading cards with each other, and looks like they needed more push and more examples and visual support, so I start making cards for them. So when I will bring my cards, they will bring theirs and we will exchange. So today my set of cards are not white. I painted the surface of each card, which is actually an index card that I cut into 2.5 by 3.5 rectangle, and I painted them with ultramarine blue, orange, and it was like crimson red, and I created different patterns, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, and each card has its own meaning. The one that you see me working on right now, I decided to create cityscape with several buildings nesting next to each other. I worked on the windows, different pattern for the windows, different shape for the windows as well, and the entrances to the buildings are looking different, otherwise they look like almost the same. I ended up having slanted roofs, and I also have some birds will be flying in that orange sky. It's like sunset, and I really like these cityscapes when it's pretty simple, pretty basic. There's no details on the architectural like front part of the building, so just was very peaceful and calm for me to just work on this simple design. I was going with no pre-made design. There was no sketching, there was no brainstorming. It's practically just in a split of a second. Right at the moment when camera was on, I was figuring out what each card will be, what design I will put. Some designs came faster than others. For example, this one, as soon as I saw what I painted, I'm like, oh, I know this will be a cityscape. And so that was easy. Sort of figuring out was already there in my head. So I did not end up spending too much time on this card. My goal was to keep it about 10 minutes or even under. And I think it's took about 10 minutes per each card. As I said in my previous videos, I think my students needs to see that art can also be not that complicated, because usually we work with a very big process. It's step-by-step process of working on the project. We brainstorm ideas, we figuring out what and why and how, and then we are sketching, then we're figuring out which sketch we will use, and then we're drawing, we're painting, so working on details, presentation. So for this, I just thought I want them to also just enjoy art and not to be scared that, oh, there's so much stuff I need to work on. So now in this video, I am working on the second card, and when I saw these colors that I placed horizontally, I right away knew it will be a beach. It will be crimson ocean, a blue ultramarine sky, and orange sand with pebbles. Because I did not use professional or watercolor paper, I used index cards, they curled after painting. So I sometimes need to straighten them up and curl them backwards. And under the press, they usually stay pretty nice and straight. So I went for the pattern, like using different dots, lines, shapes, in order to break down the surfaces and elements, not only sand with pebbles, but ocean will have, or water will have its own pattern, and sky will have its own. So even though colors break down the surface of this card into 3 planes, I also emphasize that using different patterns, different dots, lines, and shapes. So dots, the stippling, actually style went for the background of the sand that was touching the ocean. The foreground of the sand is pebbles, organic shapes that some of them are just outlined and some of them filled with black color. And these wavy lines on the ocean are waves, and I just thought they will create nice flowing feeling that the water can give you. And for the sky, I just created 3 clouds that also were different from the pattern that I had on the water and on the sand, which creates interesting like a layout to look at, and your eyes jumping from one surface to another. And I almost done. I never was quite sure what I want to do with that crimson spot on the sand, so I just left it because it's so easy when you don't know what to do to ruin it. But I just thought I'm just gonna leave it to imagination of my viewers. And sometimes that's what artists do. It's all about leaving something unspoken, something not finished. So not everything that authors, writers convey to their readers needs to be said in the book. Sometimes it's left between the lines of the book, between the letters. So imagination of my viewers will be engaged in this artist trading card. Now, this 3rd card that I started, I probably like that one the least. It did not end up fully satisfying me. So the diagonal pattern did not give me any bright, wonderful ideas. So I just went with whatever I felt inside and just put random patterns, again, different pebbles on the ultramarine corner over there. Then I put some, I don't even know how to describe, they look those scalloped lines that connected with each other by vertical lines, I guess, pattern on that border between ultramarine and crimson colors. And then on the crimson part, I will be adding floral, botanical shapes, like leaves with berries sticking out. Again, if I would get a chance, I would probably end up with something different. And maybe this card was supposed to be the one I should have spent more time on thinking about and what I exactly would do with it. However, sometimes I think we need to leave things that we're not satisfied with, just let them be. Let them sit there next to your successful art pieces, because in somebody's eyes, those would be treasures. They would like it and they will say, oh, I want this one to exchange. And with other things, they might be, a reminder to you, like this piece is a reminder to me. Slow down and take your time. Some cards need time, need a lot of thinking, and maybe it would end up being something I will be happy with. But however, I just left it there. I just thought that's fine. Some things need to be like, not everything I create needs to look fabulous and amazing. So overall, my students will be facing a time when they will be figuring out what they want to choose, and I will be figuring out from what they will create what I want to choose, and we will see if this trade will be fair. I think it's very important for students to face this business part of visual art world, because especially for those who will be more serious about art, or even those that would not, maybe at some point in their life they will end up buying an art piece. And they need to know which art piece will be fitting them the most, they like the most, and how they can, trade, or like usually, you trade art for money, right? You're buying artwork using money. Here, we're not going to be using money. We're going to just exchange our little art pieces. And what a great way of leaving some legacy, or leaving a memory of yourself for your students. Because, some students are graduating, or they moving into different classes. Some of them are moving to different schools, and that will end up being a great token for them to retain, to hold on to have it as a little picture, maybe, or a artwork for the refrigerator, or maybe it's small enough to be a bookmark. So that's also possible, and I will be okay, to, even if they will ask to put my signature on the back. In any case, I'm not taking extremely seriously those little artist trading cards. However, sometimes, like with my ocean and the beach scene, they end up looking like they can be a promising pieces on the bigger scale. So I would take them, these little artist trading cards, as sketches, little samples of what bigger art pieces can be. I hope you enjoyed this little time with me. I hope you also participating in some sort of artist trading cards, and I hope you enjoying this time.